What if I told you that the most attractive person in the room isn't always the one with the perfect face? It's often the person nobody can stop looking at. Have you ever noticed that? Two people walk into the same room. One is incredibly good looking. The other looks completely ordinary. But somehow, everyone naturally pays attention to the second person. People smile at them. They remember their name. They enjoy being around them.
Why?
Here's the truth that almost nobody talks about. Real attraction isn't something you're born with. It's something you build through small habits that quietly change the way people experience you. The strange part? Most of these habits are invisible. People won't notice them consciously, but they'll feel them. And feelings are what people remember. Today, you'll discover the habits that make someone naturally magnetic, not louder, not fake, not arrogant, just unforgettable. Some of these habits may completely change the way you see confidence. And the final habit is the one that silently separates the most attractive people from everyone else. Let's begin. Habit 1. Become comfortable with silence. Imagine two people having a conversation. The first person talks constantly. Every pause makes them nervous. They rush to fill every second with words. The second person speaks calmly. When silence appears, they don't panic. They simply smile and wait. Who feels more confident? Almost always the second person. Here's why. Most people think attraction comes from saying impressive things. Psychology suggests something different. People naturally associate calmness with confidence, and confidence is attractive. When you're comfortable with silence, you send a powerful message without saying a word. I don't need to prove myself. I don't need constant attention. That kind of emotional control is rare. And rare qualities attract attention? The problem is that most people fear silence. They think silence makes conversations awkward. So they overshare. They interrupt. They speak before thinking. Ironically, the more they try to appear interesting, the less interesting they become. This week, challenge yourself. The next time someone finishes speaking, pause for 2 seconds before you answer. Maintain relaxed eye contact. Speak slowly. You'll be surprised how much more powerful your words feel. But silence alone isn't enough. Because there's another habit that makes people feel something even stronger. Respect. Habit to make people feel seen. Think about the last person who made you feel genuinely important. Maybe they remembered your name. Maybe they noticed something everyone else ignored. Maybe they listened without checking their phone. You probably still remember them. Not because they were entertaining, because they made you feel valued. Here's something fascinating. People don't remember every conversation. They remember how they felt during it. That's why attractive people don't try to become the center of attention. They make other people feel like they matter. When someone is speaking, don't secretly prepare your next sentence. Actually listen. Notice their expressions. Ask thoughtful questions. Remember small details? Because attention has become one of the rarest gifts in today's world. Most people are waiting for their turn to speak. Very few are truly listening. And those who do become unforgettable? Here's today's challenge. The next time someone tells you something important, ask one follow-up question instead of changing the subject. Watch their face. You'll see something change. Because everyone wants to be heard. But here's where it gets interesting. There's one habit that quietly destroys attraction, even if you're attractive on the outside. Habit 3. Stop chasing approval. Imagine meeting someone who agrees with everything you say. Every opinion, every joke, every decision. At first it feels nice, but after a while, it feels strange. Almost uncomfortable. Because people respect authenticity more than agreement. The most attractive people don't constantly seek approval. They aren't rude. They aren't arrogant. They're simply honest. If they disagree respectfully, they say it. If they don't know something, they admit it. If they make a mistake, they own it. That honesty creates trust. And trust creates attraction. Many people spend years trying to be liked by everyone. The result? They slowly lose their own identity. Ironically, the moment you stop chasing approval, people begin respecting you more. This doesn't mean becoming difficult. It means becoming real. Have opinions. Respect others. But don't abandon yourself just to fit in. Because confidence isn't saying, everyone must like me. Confidence is saying, I'll still be okay if they don't. And the next habit might be the most misunderstood habit of all. Most people think it makes them look weak. In reality, it makes them incredibly attractive. Habits to speak less, but say more. Some people believe talking more makes them more interesting. The opposite is often true. Think about someone whose words always seem important. Why do people listen? Because they don't speak just to fill space. They speak with intention. Every sentence has purpose. Every story has meaning. Every opinion adds value. People who constantly talk often lose attention. People who choose their words carefully gain it. Before speaking, ask yourself one question. Does this add something meaningful? If the answer is yes, say it confidently. If not, silence is usually stronger. Notice the people who naturally command respect. They rarely rush. They rarely interrupt. And they almost never waste words. Their presence does the talking before their voice ever does. Most people don't realize this. The less you need attention. And in the next part, you'll discover habits that completely change the energy you bring into every room, habits that make people trust you, admire you, and remember you long after you've left. Habit 5. Control your emotions before they control you. Imagine two people facing the exact same problem. One gets angry instantly. Their voice gets louder. Their face changes. They react before they think. The other person pauses. They take a breath. They stay calm. Now ask yourself, who looks stronger? Psychologists have found that people naturally associate emotional control with leadership and confidence. It's not because calm people never feel anger. It's because they don't let anger make their decisions. Most people believe power comes from winning arguments. Real power comes from controlling yourself. The person who can remain calm in difficult situations immediately becomes more attractive because emotional stability creates a sense of safety. People trust those who don't lose control. The problem is that most people react emotionally because reacting is easy. Responding takes discipline. The next time someone criticizes you, don't answer immediately. Pause. Smile. Then respond with confidence instead of emotion. That one habit alone can completely change how people see you. But here's where it gets interesting. There's one habit that quietly makes people enjoy your company without even realizing why. Habit 6. Make people feel comfortable around you. Have you ever met someone who instantly made you feel relaxed? You didn't feel judged. You didn't feel pressured to impress them. You could simply be yourself. Those people are incredibly rare and incredibly attractive. Here's why. Human beings are constantly scanning their environment for emotional safety. When someone feels accepted around you, their brain begins associating you with comfort. That's why people aren't always attracted to the loudest person. They're attracted to the person who makes them feel peaceful. Most people unknowingly do the opposite. They interrupt. They criticize. They compete. They always try to prove they're smarter. Eventually, people become emotionally exhausted around them. Instead, become the person who listens without rushing, who laughs naturally, who gives others space to speak. Because people may forget your words, but they'll never forget how relaxed they felt around you. And the next habit changes everything. Because it has nothing to do with talking. It has everything to do with the energy you carry. Habit 7. Walk like you already believe in yourself. Before you say a single word, your body has already introduced you. The way you walk, the way you stand, the way you make eye contact. All of it tells a story. Imagine someone walking with their head down, shoulders collapsed, eyes fixed on the ground. Now imagine another person walking calmly. Their posture is relaxed. Their movements are steady. Their eyes look forward. Without hearing either of them speak, you already formed an opinion. That's the power of body language. Confidence is often seen before it's heard. The mistake most people make is trying to look confident. Real confidence isn't acting. It's removing habits that make you look uncertain. Stand tall. Slow your movements. Avoid nervous fidgeting. Walk with purpose, not speed. These tiny adjustments completely change the way people respond to you. Because people don't just hear confidence, they see it. But most people don't realize this. The next habit makes you attractive even when nobody is looking. Habit 8. Keep quiet about your goals. Imagine two people. The first tells everyone about every plan, every dream, every future success. The second quietly starts working. Months later, only one of them has real results. Here's why. When you constantly announce your goals, your brain often feels a false sense of achievement. Talking begins replacing action. Truly attractive people don't need constant validation. They let their results speak first. There's something incredibly powerful about quiet confidence. It creates mystery. It builds respect. It makes people curious. Instead of saying, I'm going to become successful. Instead of saying, I'm changing my life, change it. Silence combined with consistent action creates a presence that words never can. And in the final part, you'll discover the 4 deepest habits that quietly separate unforgettable people from everyone else, including the one habit that almost nobody practices, yet instantly makes someone magnetic. Habit 9, master the habit of genuine curiosity. Have you ever noticed that the people everyone loves aren't always the ones telling the best stories? They're often the ones asking the best questions. Think about the last conversation you truly enjoyed. Was it because someone talked about themselves for 20 minutes? Probably not. It was because someone made you feel interesting. That's the hidden power of curiosity. Truly attractive people don't enter conversations thinking, how can I impress this person? They ask, what can I learn about this person? That single shift changes everything. People naturally open up when they feel your curiosity is genuine, not because you're trying to gain something, but because you truly care. Psychologists call this emotional validation. When people feel understood, their brain releases positive emotions. And without realizing it, they begin associating those emotions with you. Most people only listen to reply. Attractive people listen to understand. The next time you meet someone, instead of trying to sound interesting, ask one meaningful question. What inspired you to do that? What was the hardest part? What did you learn? Watch how quickly the conversation changes. But here's something even more powerful. The next habit doesn't change how people see you. It changes how they remember you. Habit 10, stay consistent even when nobody is watching. Imagine meeting someone who is kind only when it benefits them, confident only in front of certain people, respectful only when someone important is around. Eventually, people notice. Because consistency builds trust, and trust creates attraction. The most magnetic people don't have 2 personalities. They don't wear masks. They treat the waiter with the same respect they give the CEO. They stay humble after success. They stay disciplined when nobody is watching. That consistency makes people feel safe, because they know exactly who they're dealing with. And in today's world, that's incredibly rare. Most people chase attention. Very few chase character. And character always wins in the long run. But here's where almost everyone makes a mistake. They spend years improving their appearance, while completely ignoring the final habit. Habit 11, build a life that you love. This may be the most attractive habit of all. Stop trying to become interesting. Start living an interesting life. Learn new skills. Read books. Travel when you can. Exercise. Create something. Develop hobbies. Challenge yourself. Because confidence grows through experience. The more life you live, the more depth your personality gains. You no longer need to pretend. You naturally become someone worth listening to. People are attracted to those who have purpose. Not because purpose looks impressive, because purpose creates energy. And energy is contagious. When your life is full, you stop chasing validation. You stop begging for attention. You simply become someone people enjoy being around. Final message. Now think about everything you've learned today. Real attraction isn't built in front of a mirror. It's built through habits. The habit of staying calm. The habit of making people feel important. The habit of speaking with purpose. The habit of controlling your emotions. The habit of carrying yourself with confidence. The habit of working quietly. The habit of staying curious. The habit of being consistent. And finally, the habit of building a life you're proud of. Most people spend years trying to look attractive. Very few spend time becoming attractive. And that's the difference. Looks may capture attention, but character captures hearts. Confidence earns respect. Kindness builds connection. Discipline creates presence. And habits shape the person the world remembers. 1 year from now, you won't become attractive because you wished for it. You'll become attractive because of the choices you make every single day. Small habits, repeated consistently. until they become part of who you are. So ask yourself one question before this video ends. Which habit will you start today? Because your future self is being shaped by the decisions you make right now. If this video gave you a new perspective, don't let it end here. Hit the like button if you learned something valuable. Subscribe for more videos on psychology, confidence, self-improvement, and success. And in the comments, tell me which habit surprised you the most. Remember, the most attractive person in the room isn't always the loudest. It's the one whose habits speak before they ever do.